welcome. So, why do men have to know how to fight / be conditioned? Let's get into this. First off, we have to accept that we don't live in a peaceful world. As much as we would like to, as much as that is the goal of generational excellence and the Hanuman mindset, we don't live in a peaceful world right now. There's corruption, wars going on, people have lived different lives. There are people out there who have lived different lives to you and may naturally be more inclined to violence based on their experiences, okay? Based on the life they've experienced. If you look at gang culture or how, poverty can sometimes drive you to do certain acts of violence in the mindset of, survival and trying to, get food, trying to eat, trying to survive. Even on another level, it could be the fact that a mental illness can make you more inclined to violence. Or on a completely, well, not a completely other level, but on another level, you could just be having a bad day or be having a mental breakdown and someone just lashes out on you. You could just say the wrong thing to someone on a bad day and they'll lash out at you. We have to accept that we live in a world where throughout history, we have a track record of violence. We have a track record of cruelty and a track record of madness, okay? We have to accept that. And obviously on the Hanuman regiment and the Hanuman mindset, we aim to better ourselves, and as generations come and generations to come, we better the next generation and become more peaceful. That being said, we have people to protect. We can't deny that we don't live in or that we do, that there's a lot of violence going on, We can't deny that. And we need to be prepared for that. So, for this, being able to fight and being conditioned is essential for your own safety, for your family's safety. And in case anything goes on, we can't control. Something could happen, then people are rioting on the street. You're just trying to get home from work, okay? Now, on a level, when it comes to being conditioned, endurance, stamina, and having a physique is important within the Hanuman mindset regiment. Now, you're probably sitting there thinking, okay, yeah, but just because you have a physique doesn't mean you can fight. Just because you have muscle doesn't mean you can fight. And we've seen it loads of times that, people with muscle get beat up. There used to be this show where it would be like bullies would verse an MMA fighter. I can't remember what it was on. And we saw it loads of times where the bully would get bust up. Some of them were, pretty muscular. They would get bust up by an MMA fighter. So why in the Hanuman regiment, in terms of protecting yourself and this whole issue that we're talking about, why does the physique matter? The first reason is that people like to prey on the weak. Yeah. A lot of people who are going to attack you or try to rob you, these people, they will look at you and scope you out for a bit. If you don't look, muscular, it's going to make you look weak. When people see someone that looks weak, they're more inclined to try to take advantage. Just because we all know, a physique doesn't mean you can fight. But what I can say is that having a physique will make people think twice about fighting you. Okay? We also can't deny that having a physique is proof that this person has a level of strength, okay? If you've built muscle, you have a level of strength, you have a level of power, okay? That's going to make you tricky to deal with in a fight, yeah? It's like Eddie Hall. If you look at someone like Eddie Hall, strongman, yeah? Even though, okay, Eddie Hall has actually done some boxing training. He had a fight with, Thor and stuff like that. But if we take Eddie Hall before his boxing training, you're still going to think twice about fighting that guy. If he grabs you, yeah, you're in danger. if he hits you, it's like playing a game on sudden death. Do you get what I'm saying? If he hits you, that's going to deal some damage. If you've seen some of his boxing training footage, I think there was a point where he was hitting a guy in the stomach. He had a body shield on, hit him in the stomach. The guy started coughing up blood because he's got a lot of power. He's got a lot of weight behind him. Now, of course, Eddie Hall's an extreme example, but what I'm saying is people are going to think twice when you have a physique. Having a physique is going to bring foundation, is going to contribute to your power you can generate, the strength you have in the fight. On top of the physique, if you're conditioned, you have some stamina, some endurance, that's going to help you out in a fight. We know that. You've probably seen loads of fights where people lose the fight because they get tired, they gas out. So having that physique is going to help. Having that conditioning is going to help. And then you top that up with some actual combat skill, then yeah, that's all going to help. It's going to be crazy. So, that being said, taking all this into account, how does the Hanuman mindset take this information and turn it into something useful that we can use? Okay, so based on this, the approach for the Hanuman mindset is, and the Hanuman regimen is, you will design a training plan which incorporates combat training, strength, power, hypertrophy, and cardiovascular / endurance training, right? Now, obviously, this is going to be periodized throughout the year. To do all of this, you have to periodize it. In terms of whether you're training, strength, you're focusing strength, hypertrophy, you're focusing on power. And in terms of your cardiovascular training, because you can train, strength and cardiovascular training in the same week, but in terms of the activities you're doing, if you're focusing on running, swimming, maybe biking, or maybe you're doing some sort of hybrid training plan where you do like a sort of triathlon training plan, and on top of that you have your strength training. Combat training is something though that we would have to do throughout the year consistently. Do you get what I'm saying? Whether it's twice a week, as long as you're doing that combat training consistently and improving your skill, then that's perfect. And then the periodizing your strength and the different training splits you're doing, that's really up to you. And if you want me to do a video where I give you some examples of training plans, we can do that, but that's for another video. But the main thing is that you want to periodize your training to be almost like a warrior approach. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you look at what would a warrior need to train and be well versed in, and you put that into a training plan. Obviously, this is a lot of stuff. The Hanuman mindset and regimen is for, like I said, creating generational excellence. Being able to protect the next generation to come is part of generational excellence. But also, when you have a disciplined regimen, most people who are disciplined and have a regimen don't end up being violent people. Do you get what I'm saying? Most people who train martial arts aren't violent people, but they have the capability of violence, but they have the discipline and the experience. They've been through the training. They know what it takes. And that's what we are. That's what it's about. It's about being, a peaceful person, but having that capability to protect and be strong, So, like I was saying again, so your combat training will be done throughout the year. You want to periodize your training split throughout the year, whether you're focusing strength, building muscle, because again, we'll get to that as well, but unless you're trying to compete, you want to be as big and strong as you can, as fast as you can, and as skilled as you can. Do you get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, as we know in real life, that's why there's weight classes in combat sports, because your weight will have an effect. And ideally, you want to be as big and strong as you can, be as fit as you can, and be as great as a fighter as you can. Yeah, that's within the capabilities of your periodized training and getting the best out of each one. Of course, if now you want to specialize, even with your combat training, you want to do you want to do like a mixed martial arts sort of thing, unless your goal is to compete in life, like you want to be a professional boxer, MMA fighter, kickboxer, whatever. Okay, then you need to stick to your discipline because that's what you're competing in. But for just the more general approach, you want to do a bit of everything. You want to do some grappling, some striking, that sort of stuff, right? You want to mix it up, unless you're competing. And that's the same for your weight and stuff like that. If you're competing and you're fighting in a certain weight class, then okay, your goal won't be to pack on as much size as you can because you're trying to make weight for whatever. So that is the approach. If you want me to create a more structured kind of plan that you can see, I will do that for another video. But just for a bit of fun now, yeah. Let's say that we lived in a utopia, right? In the sense, humans ironed out their issues. Yeah? Then the aliens come and attack. And they demand trial by combat for the rights of our planet. Yeah? What are we going to do? We need to know how to fight. We're going to have to know how to protect. But jokes aside, the main thing is the best situation that you would want is to have the skill and strength to, defend yourself, but never have to use it in the sense of your mindset and the respect you show people. You shouldn't, especially if you're, on the Hanuman regiment, Hanuman mindset, you should be respectful and you shouldn't get into situations, that will cause an outburst of violence and stuff like that. Sometimes it's unavoidable. Sometimes people are just going to be the type of people they are. We can't control the corrupt society we're in. We don't know what's going to happen in that sense. So it's always good to be prepared, be fit, and at the same time, forget about just the act of, combat, but the act of training, and especially combat style training, the mental kind of gains you're going to get from that, the growth you're going to get from that, the discipline is, it's unmatched. It's unmatched. And that's why I recommend everyone should incorporate it into their training routine. So with that being said, keep improving yourself, keep training, and we'll see you in the next video.